all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Jumai Manson. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and free to air on Nicomsat. Now the news in full. Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma has called on politicians to emulate the exemplary life of late Michael Okpara. The governor made the call at the Michael Okpara Leadership Lecture and Award 2024 in Abuja. Uzodinma advised public office holders to live above board and work for the benefit of the people. Kikelomo Okere has the details.
Almost 60 years since Michael Okpara left the political stage, his shoes remains big for most politicians to wear as a result of his political philosophy, which encapsulates in pragmatic socialism. The governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, who spoke on the topic Service Above Self, Lessons from the Leadership Philosophy of Dr. Michael Okpara, noted that Okpara was able to make the Eastern region's economy the fastest growing one in Africa because of the leadership model. According to him, the inordinate quest for wealth and lack of discipline, among others, are responsible for the unbridled corruption in Nigeria's system.
Again, emphasized the need for us to render selfless service to the people of the state and not to be driven by the acquisition of wealth. Because, as I speak, nobody can come out openly to accuse me of corruption. My close aides, and I challenge anybody, my close aides who engaged in untoward activities never knew how fast they were thrown out of government.
He also provided an update on the ongoing rehabilitation of the Egbema power plant, announcing that the project is expected to be completed and commissioned in the first quarter of 2025. The governor highlighted the importance of the project in providing 24 hours electricity across all areas of Imo State.
Just like the great Okpara, I also realized that having stabilized the critical infrastructure, especially roads, and knowing that our health and the education sectors were under control and running smoothly, I decided to turn my attention to the total industrialization of the state. Realizing that this could never be feasible without a regular power supply, the government of Imo State has entered into a partnership agreement, taking advantage of the latest alteration of our constitution, removing power from the exclusive legislative list to the concurrent legislative list. We have now, working with our technical and financial partners, created a platform to generate, transmit, and distribute electricity to the 27 local government areas of the state.
In his remark at the occasion, Cross River State Governor Senator Basi Otu described Okpara as his hero because of the monumental development he achieved in the former Eastern region. According to him, most of the agricultural policies being implemented by his administration in Cross River State were derived from the legacy of Okpara.
And I urge you to transmit the principles of community, faith, and sacrifice, which characterize the destiny of our hero, who lived and died with a sterling emblem of unblemished integrity and credibility.
The chairman of the occasion and the former president of the Senate, Senator Ayim Pius Ayim, praised the organizers for keeping the memory of the late premier alive. He eulogized Governor Hope Uzodinma for his thought-provoking lecture and urged Nigerians to imbibe the recommendations from the lecture.
I want to state, and very confidently, that no Nigerian citizen east of the Niger has impacted Eastern Nigeria positively like Mwai Okpara. Said that the magic that guaranteed the progress recorded under Dr. Okpara's administration was purposeful and visionary leadership.
The former First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Dame Patience Jonathan, says the lecture is aimed at promoting good governance and excellence in service delivery.
Michael's Okpara legacies are too numerous to mention, but I urge you to hold firm to those legacies for the progress of the country in general.
The highlight of the event was the presentation of awards to notable Nigerians, of which the Premier Grand Prize Gold Plaque category award by the organizers was given to Governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, among others. Kike Lomo Okere.
Thank you, Kike, for that report. President Bola Tinubu has sworn in Justice Kudirat Kekere-Ekun as the 23rd Chief Justice of Nigeria, pending her confirmation by the Senate. Kekere-Ekun took the oath of office and signed the oath register at 11:40 a.m. at the Council Chamber of the State House, Abuja, on Friday. She succeeds Arola, who assumed office on June 27, 2022, and bowed out on Thursday upon attaining the mandatory retirement age of 70 years. Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Professor Joseph Utsivs, has reiterated the commitment of President Bola Tinubu's administration to the completion of all abandoned and inherited projects in the citizens' interest. Utsivs spoke during an inspection tour of the Okpese multi-purpose dam along Ikere-Ekiti Road in Ekiti State, where construction began in 2007. But stalled owing to lack of funds. The minister, who said Tinubu had approved funds for the completion of the project targeted at providing water, generating hydropower and serving irrigation purposes, assured that the job would be completed soon. Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has unveiled an empowerment initiative aimed at targeting 1,000 women's petty traders in Delta State. According to her, the move is part of the present administration's continued commitment to drive economic growth towards a better life for Nigerian families. Addressing the beneficiaries at the unveiling of the Renewed Hope initiative in Asaba, Delta State, Mrs. Tinubu said that the initiative was to boost small and medium enterprises, especially the petty traders who form the backbone of the nation's local economics. The Nigerian Hydrological Service Agency has warned the public regarding the rising water level of the River Niger as of August 22, 2024. This alert comes in response to a report from the Niger Basin Authority in Niamey, Niger Republic, indicating that upstream activities in Niger and Mali have contributed to the situation. A statement by the Director General of the Attorney, Umar Mohammed, noted flood waters from the two countries are expected to move gradually into Nigeria through Kebbi State, further noting that dam operators at Kanji and Jeba on the River Niger have been informed and are fully prepared to manage the situation. Announcing the Nigeria Education Loan Fund has acknowledged receipt of 50 billion naira from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. A statement by the fund's head of corporate communications, Oseyemi Oluwatuyi, noted that the release followed the directive of President Bola Tinubu in his speech on August 4, 2024, directing the EFCC to transfer the funds to Nigerian Education Loan Fund to further boost the student loan program. The Nigerian Medical Association has called on the Cross River State government to urgently enhance its surveillance mechanism against Mpox amidst increased vulnerability. The public relations officer of the Doctors Association, Dr. Ukam Idadi, made the call in an interview in Calabar, Cross River State capital. The Cross River chapter of the association thereby warned that the state is more vulnerable than others. The federal government says it has set up at least 40 aging decks basically meant for care of senior citizens in 40 different ministries, departments, and agencies, stating that one individual agency or ministry cannot handle issues related to aging. Director General of the Nigerian Senior Citizen Center, Dr. Inem Omokoro, disclosed this in Abuja during an inaugural training program for Quality Assurance Assessors Certification in the Cleric Social Care Skills sector. Although the government did not list the ministries, departments, and agencies that have this section, it had, however, warned against discrimination and stigmatization of older persons in various sectors, noting that old age should be seen as a beautiful thing to cherish and not to be despised. The lawmakers representing Delta Central Senatorial District at the National Assembly, Senator Ede Dafanone, has called on the federal and Delta State government to, without further delay, commence the process of rebuilding and resettling the displaced indigents of the devastated Okorma community of Ugeli South local government area in their ancestral home. This is as he stated that civilians arrested in connection to the killings of soldiers in the community must be respected and not subjected to any form of abuse. He also appealed to international donor agencies to come to the aid of the troubled Okolma people, noting that the situation at Okolma is an international humanitarian crisis that needs global effort to rebuild and resettle the people. You're watching News Cycle on Global Television, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. When the news cycle returns, Nigeria gear up for 2025 on the 19 Cricket World Cup qualifiers. Details of these and more right after this break. Do stay with us. Welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is Global Television, bringing you live broadcast of News Cycle. Thank you for staying with us. Over now to our business decks. The national president of the Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, Dele Oye, has advocated the strengthening of comparative societies to enhance the capability of small and medium enterprise in the country. He observed that the MSEs face persistent challenges in assessing affordable and sustainable capital, which had hindered their growth and contribution to the economy. Traditional financial institutions often impose prohibitive interest rates and stringent lending criteria, making it difficult for SMEs to secure the necessary funding to scale and thrive, the NACSIMA president said. The chief executive of the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, Gbenga Komolafe, has allayed the fear of job loss among workers of international oil companies leaving Nigeria or devastating from onshore to offshore. The NUPRC boss says the commission would safeguard jobs and ensure the transfer of skills from the IOCs to the indigenous companies acquiring the assets formerly known by the foreign investors. Komolafe stated that regarding the workforce in this transition era, the Commission is committed to safeguarding jobs and ensuring the transfer of skills from IOCs to indigenous companies. The Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Ibom Power Company in Akwa Ibom State, Mayen Etukudu, has stated that the prolonged power outrage in the state is due to lack of gas supply and disconnection of the Aba-Itu transmission line. The state has had a prolonged power outrage which has lasted for more than 10 days, now leading to the folding up of many small-scale businesses in the state. Addressing newsmen in his office in Uyo, Ekutobo attributed the power outrage in the state to lack of gas supply to Ibom Power Company, and he explained that whenever there is a lack of gas supply, Akwa Ibom receives power from the national grid only through the Aba-Itu transmission line, which he noted has become old and snaps occasionally. The federal government unveiled the conversation incentive program for compressed natural gas in Ibadan, the capital of Oyo State. The initiative is designed to mitigate the impact of fuel subsidy removal and promote a safer, cleaner, and more reliable transportation future for Nigeria. The Chief Executive Officer and Program Director of the Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative, Michael Oluwagbami, stated that the initiative aims to fulfill one of the key objectives of President Bola Tinubu's Renewed Hope agenda. Oluwagbami emphasized the importance of Nigeria fully embracing the initiative, noting that the adoption of CNG could hold a revolution in the country. The federal government, through the Rural Electrification Agency, has installed power plants in 6 federal universities as part of efforts to provide reliable power to critical sectors of society. This was as the agency stated that it had made significant strides in advancing Nigeria's electrification project. This is according to a recent briefing provided by the agency's Managing Director, Abba Abubakar Aliyu, to the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister for the Economy, Wale Edun. On our foreign scene now, Vice President Kamala Harris pledged a new way forward for all Americans as she formally accepted the Democratic nomination for president on Thursday night, delivering a message of unity and urging voters to reject Donald Trump. She said November's election is a chance to move past the bitterness, criticism, and diverseness battles of the past, providing her party's convention in Chicago to a close as balloons and rained down the supporters cheered. Harris' speech capped off a 4-day spectacle designed to highlight her backstory and shape the contours of which remains a vague policy agenda. The Disaster Management and Relief Ministry in Bangladesh says at least 13 people have been killed and 4.5 million affected by flood triggered by heavy rains. The South Asian nation of 170 million people crossed by hundreds of rivers has been frequent floods in recent decades. The Global Climate Risk Index says Bangladesh is among the countries most vulnerable to disaster and climate change. The Philippines urges mariners to avoid the Red Sea as Yemen-based Houthi rebels kept up their deadly missiles and drone attack on merchant shipping in a vital waterway. The minister said Filipino seafarers should exercise prudent judgment as well as their rights to refuse to sail through the risky area. The warning came a day after 23 Filipinos and 2 Russian crew members were rescued from the Greek-flagged oil tanker that was hit by several projectiles of the rebel-led Yemeni port of Hadiyah. Lucara Diamond Corporation, a Canadian diamond mining company with a producing mine and exploration license in Botswana, says a massive 2,492-carat diamond, which is said to be the second largest in the world, have been discovered in Botswana. The company stated that the diamond was discovered in the Karewe Diamond Mine in northeastern Botswana, urging X-ray detection technology, Lucara Diamond said in a statement. Lucara Diamond Corporation did not provide estimation of the value of the find in terms of carats, and stones is second only to the 3,106-carat Cullinan diamond discovered in South Africa in 1905. The Taliban authorities in Afghanistan have introduced a set of rules governing everyday lifestyle based on their strict interpretation of Islamic law. The Justice Ministry announced on its website that 35-article law have been approved by the Taliban supreme leader. The reclusive Habital Hakazada, a range of prohibitions and guidelines for social interactions, private lives, and style of dress have now been laid out in the law. The law stipulates in particular that Muslim women are obliged to cover their faces and bodies around the men who are not Mahrams, typically a husband, brother, father, son, grandfather, or uncle under Islam, and non-Muslim women. In sports now, Real Madrid midfielder Jude Bellingham is set to be sidelined after sustaining a calf injury during Friday's training session. Following tests carried out today on the Jude Bellingham by Real Madrid's medical team, the player has been diagnosed with an injury to the plantaris muscle in his right leg. His progress will be monitored, the statement read. Bellingham will miss Liga matches against Real Valladolid, Las Palmas and Real Betis, as well as England's Nations League games against the Republic of Israel, Ireland and Finland in September. Anthony Joshua has once again set his state's set of becoming undisputed heavyweight champion. According to Barry Hearn, the Woodford powerhouse faces Daniel Dubois for the IBF heavyweight title on September 21st, while Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk duke it out of the other 3 major sanctioning body, which titles on December 21st. Providing he beats Triple D, the fight against winner of Usyk vs. Fury, 2 of all the marbles, is expected to come next. British boxing fans will be hoping Fury can avenge his split decision defeat to Usyk and set up the long-awaited domestic showdown between him and AJ. And that's it on News Cycle, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We are on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276, and free-to-air Nicomsat and its perimeters showing on your screen. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms by using the Global TV NG and the handles now showing on your screen. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. Good evening.